here to have the most deepest focus known to mankind. Um, but before that, we need to hydrate, of course. Like, what are we? 80% water, 75% water. So Pixie's sitting on the laptop and drinking water from her Palestine cup. And nothing's done. So let's begin. Bismillah. Oh, my bad. Don't look at that. That was very personal. Yeah. We were basically what we were doing was GCR 11. Simple pole formula. So the numerator stays undifferentiated. And the denominator is what's differentiated. And the way to tell what if a pole is simple is when um the denominator can become zero if you put the variable as zero, but if it were to be differentiated as the denominator, then it would be not turned to zero. That's why we differentiate it. But when it's not a simple pole, then we use a different formula. Sometimes we take the limit formula for simple poles. So the limit formula, I'm so scared, is when you cancel the factor z minus alpha. And that usually looks like this times the z minus the alpha, which in this case is 2, right? As z goes to 2, then you cancel that out, and then you solve for z, which in this case would be 3 over 5. But that's like when the poles are simple and you know the amount of poles. Yo, Tsuking, how's it going? I know that word. I know that word that you're spelling. It's pretty common in this generation. However, it's not actually racist. It's just an adjective. Real racism is when you put people down and see them as less than yourself. But calling them a certain slur for the main purpose being uh sort of for humor and uh, entertainment to get rid of your boredom. That's not the same level of racism. Of course, people don't appreciate it still. But yeah, this is when the pole is not simple, meaning the denominator has repeated factors. So if z equals alpha is a pole of order m, then that doesn't make sense. The limit, that's scary. See, even they agree. It looks scary, but for your class, the most common simple case is second order pole. So the second order pole is we'll get to that. We'll catch that train when we cross it, or something like that. Tomorrow I'm gonna get a large batch of drugs. That sounds like a fun trip, fun idea. Yo, Rinku Kumar, welcome to the stream. How's it going? Hope your finals are over or you're feeling okay if they're still ongoing. I know it's like a really difficult time for all of us students across the globe. Canvas going down, we thought it could help us, but it didn't. It only made things worse. So, yeah, either way, hope you guys are doing good. And yeah, so yeah, let me know how your day is going. I hope it's going good. And if it's not, it will get better. I promise you that. I promise you with all of my heart that you will get through this hard time. And if you have to blow stream, if you have to say the N word a little bit, it's fine. You're not hurting anybody, are you? It's gonna be like 4:30 a.m. here. Dang. What's it gonna be again? 4:30 a.m. That's very far. It's like 12 minus 2 hours. That's 10 hours ahead of mine. Right now it's 6 p.m. for me. Like done. Thank you, Rinku. That's so sweet. Stand pie. My pharmacy will open tomorrow. LOL for real. Dang, y'all have your schedules settled out and ready. That's crazy. But I'm happy for you guys if it makes you happy. Yeah, of course, it's not the healthiest thing, but we can make better choices later on. Like for the immediate right now, it's okay to make a couple mistakes. You could straighten up later if you have to, if you really have to. But anyway, so the simple pull formula that we're using is this one right here. When we make the denominator sort of differentiated, not sort of, it differentiated, and then the the numerator we keep undifferentiated. It's just the same. So that's how we get -1/8 for our residual, and then the residue is when we take the sum of it because there's two, right? There's a plus or minus from the quadratic formula that we used earlier to find the residues on both sides of the inner unit circle residue because there were more, but those were outside of the unit circle. So we want what's inside, and then we get this residue sum here, -I/8 minus I/8 equals to -I/4. And that's hard to calculate, It's like where'd the 4 come from? But really, it's -2I/8, and you cross cancel the common factor, which is the 2, right? 8 is just 2 times 4, and then you get -I/4 for the sum of the residuals. Right here, just like that. So now that we have the residue, this is when we apply the residue to the residue theorem. So the residue is -I/4, as we have calculated earlier. Now the residual theorem here is f of z, not c, dz equals to 2 pi I times the residue. We don't integrate here. This is not calculus, this is complex variables. That's where this residual theorem comes in handy because we're not integrating anymore. We're not using trig functions. We're using this residual formula to apply it to the residual theorem, which is so convenient for things like this of this sort because sometimes, we don't uh we have to consider the poles, right? So, anyways, the residual here being -I/4, we multiply that by 2 pi I. And I times I, what is that? It's -1, right? Because I is square root of -1. So when the square root goes away, after you multiply it by itself, you have -1 left over. And because this -I/4 is a negative, negative times negative is a positive. So all of that goes away. The i's, the negatives, it becomes simple. So you have 2 pi over 4. And what is that? You cross cancel the 2, right? The common factor 2. You left with pi over 2 as your answer for the residue theorem in this problem here, this integral. Hi, yo, Ago Beatas. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but welcome to the stream. Stan, no one give a FCFK? Who's Stan? I got subs too. I got them at my pharmacy. Whoa. Can you like drop the address of your pharmacy? Like out of curiosity, it's not like I'm gonna actually go there to get anything. Like maybe just it's really interesting. Like your pharmacy carries a lot more things than normal. Like I'm not surprised that it has a lot of things, but more than what the masses should have. It's like whoa. Maybe you need like a premium membership or something. But I'm not sure. Deep work, no fun, no games, only focus. Stacy head Jake. Oh my god. That last line That was brutal. Yeah, we gotta really focus lock in this time. Channel subscribe done. Thank you, Rinku Kumar. That is so kind of you. I hope I hope your day gets better if it's not good. I hope it gets even better if it is good. I hope all the kindness that you spread to the world comes back to you tenfold, if not more. Tenfold minimum. That's just how much you deserve the kindness in life brought back to you, as well as everybody else who's kind in this stream, you know? Which subject are you studying? Complex variables, Shifu. And welcome to the stream. Thanks for wishing that for me. Of course, I wish that for everybody. Like, the world needs to be a much kinder place. Otherwise, how are we gonna heal? You tell me. You tell me. Sorry, I meant kind, not whatever that was. Next question. So the answer, when we scroll all the way down, we get sine squared theta, whatever that is, that integral equals to pi over 4. What a simple solution. Go back to deep work. Oh my god. Y'all have no mercy. Have some mercy on me, Dad. See, I got pi over 4 here. So I'll put 1 point. But let's see how we got pi over 4. It's a lot of steps. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of steps. So we have this, right? 0 to 2 pi over here. Sine squared theta all over 5 plus 4 cosine theta d theta equals to pi over 4. Well, they gave the answers already, but yo, why is your dad home? Don't tell me that. It's Mother's Day, not Father's Day. Like, what are we doing with our lives? And how come the view count went down to 2? One of them being my sister. Yo, I'm so done. There's no such thing as Father's Day. Who made that up? Like, who is that delusional? Like, let's see, who made Father's Day? Who came up with Father's Day? Father's Day. Sonora Smart Dodd to honor her father. Okay, daddy's girl. What the hell? Like, who? Why did everybody in the world listen to her? Okay, whatever, Sonora. life is life is hard. Life is hard. If you have a sister, views never be 0. Math sucks. Yo, Jeffrey, watch your language. Math is beautiful. Math is the language of the universe, according to Galileo Galilei. So, if I were you, I would just do math all day. I would study, I would pass, I'd get aura, I'd get clout, I'd get some place in society, and people will not look down on me, and I'd be a respected individual, and all my dreams would come true if I were you. But I'm not. That's why I'm not all that. So, use unit circle substitution. So you want to replace z with the ei theta polar form. So z equals to ei theta. And what we do with that? Well, we don't have any z's in here, but we got our Euler's theorem, Euler's formula. Euler. So what is the Euler's theorem? Sine theta goes to e to I theta minus e to the negative I theta all over 2I. So when we plug in z to the e to the I theta, we get this. Z minus z to the negative I to the negative 1, not I. Be careful with your language. But we have to remember this small unit. Not unit, the power. You put it all to the second power. And that's just the numerator. Still, it's a rational function. Uh, oh, oh, I'm so sad. I don't know how I'm gonna do all this. Cosine theta is all that except the I. Because cosine is the real number. There's no imaginary part in the cosine. The real number is on this horizontal axis, the imaginary is on this one. So the I is only on here. The cosine is the x part of the z formula being z equals x plus iy. Then there's no I in the denominator when you use the Euler's theorem. We have e to the I theta minus e to the negative I theta all over 2a. Let's go. But that cancels out. We get just 2 left up there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Help me with geometry. Bruh. You think I can help you when I'm failing? I mean, not failing. Sorry. Uh, when I'm sort of struggling with my own work? Jeez. What are your dreams? That's a beautiful question. Oh my gosh, Holly, welcome back to this dream. How's it going? My dreams are to just feed geese all day. Sometimes I live my dreams. Other than becoming a millionaire by 22. Oh my god. Like, are you really asking that to ask that or to just violate me with my dream, my own dreams? And I'm so glad, honestly, I'm glad I'm not a millionaire by 22. Because you know what? I don't need that. We don't need that money. Money is a disease. Money is evil. I know people say it's just a resource. Money is not evil. You're evil if money makes you evil. It's not. With money, your only desire becomes me. Without money, you think about the rest of the people. You think about those people who have that money and they don't spend it on others. That's what you think about. So that clearly said they want chopped lettuce. There goes a broke girl rant. Oh my god. You're light years away. The math you're doing looks tough. Ah, yeah, bro. It looks tough, but trust me, it's a piece of cake. If I were Pinocchio, you wouldn't even be able to hear me with my big nose. I'd be that far away. That's the real light years away. It's how far I'd be if y'all were at the end of my nose and I were Pinocchio saying math is so easy. If that even makes sense to y'all. These are lame. Oh my god! Not only is my sister a hater, but this Jeffrey guy is also a hater. Like, what do you have? Like, lame? You're making me crash out. I thought I was just not gonna talk to the chat at all today. That I was just gonna do deep work, be in my own lane, and here comes this Jeffrey guy saying geeks are lame. That rhymed. Oh my god, bro. I'm actually a poet. Dang. I deserve everything in the world. Everything. Like everything good. But you know what's good? Pain. So honestly, the pain that I go through, it's good. It's good for your health. It's like medicine. You don't want it. You don't like it, but it's good. So at the end of the day, even though you deserve all the good in the world, it's like thank God I don't have all the good in the world, you know. Broke girl talk. Yeah, whatever. Sometimes you gotta hear bro girl talk though. Anyway, so make sure to calculate d theta as well because otherwise you're just gonna simplify this and you're gonna leave d theta by itself. You can have z all over. You don't know what you're integrating by or with respect to what you were integrating by. But d theta can become dz if we look at our z here. We have z equals e to the I theta and z. Well, we take the derivative, right? The dz. Z becomes dz, and then we have e to the I theta d theta, which inevitably just becomes theta e to the I. Not theta, sorry. Theta is the derivative of the variable here. So only I comes down, right? Because that's the number here, the constant. So the constant comes down when you take the derivative. That's the d theta here. And then the dz is equal to d theta, but e to the I theta is z, remember? So that's iz. When you take the the reciprocal, you multiply it by both sides, you're left with dz over iz. That's your d theta. You plug that back into the integral right here, and you're left with this simplified version of the integral being 0 to 2 pi. And remember that the numerator was sine squared theta, and then we simplified that down to this, and we have z minus z to the negative I squared over 2i. That's part of the square. Don't get that mixed up. It's very easy to mix things up. You have to be careful. So 5 plus 2 times z minus z to the negative 1, and that's our simplified formula with the d theta as well that we replace that by. We have dz all over iz. So yeah, bro, study. I'm studying. You're the best. Hey, look at Katie. What did this just solve? We are not even close to solving. This is not solved. You thought that it was solved. It's not. It's just simplifying this integral to this form. So then we could solve it. But we have to take a closer look because look at this. We have a fraction up here on top of another denominator. So how do you simplify it even further? You have to move this to the numerator, right? So we have to distribute the 2 on both sides and then multiply by the numerator. I hope I'm gonna do it right. I don't know if I am. So just gotta look at that up there. The solution simplifies that to z squared minus 1 all squared with the negative on the outside, and the 4z is factored out from the denominator. So let's try to reach that um, final solution simplified. It's still simplification. It's not the resolving it. We didn't resolve solve it yet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's my kitty. His name is Yuki, and in the back that's Pixie. So let's try to solve it a little further, right? We have, let's see, 5 plus 5 plus 4z minus, not 4z, 2z, my bad. See, small mistakes add up. They add up. They are the bane of a mathematician's existence because we're humans. We make mistakes inevitably, but it's important to be gentle with yourself. So multiply that z minus z1. If we factor that out, we get z times z squared, right? Minus z squared I, and this is also minus z squared I. No, 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 that's not. This is minus 1 because negative 1 times, I mean, that's something to the power of negative 1 times something to the power of 1, right? Because this has an imaginary constant of 1 here. Negative 1 plus 1, because exponent rule, you add the exponents when you're multiplying something by the same variables, and then you get left with 1. And that's negative, so that's negative 1. And then over here you have negative z to the negative I times negative z I. That's just z squared. Um, well, that's just 1, right? Negative 1 times I is negative I. It doesn't fit, but you could just sort of visualize that. You have 2I here. Cancel out. No, you can't cancel out the i's. But anyways, we have z squared minus z squared I minus 1 minus I. And then you sort of multiply all of that by 5 plus 2z minus 2z to the negative I all over 2I. If I'm doing that right, because I don't know if I am. I'm gonna be a teacher or a nuclear scientist. Neither. I'm gonna be homeless or living with my parents or broke. Hopefully not though. I'm not good at teaching. Do you understand any of this? Are you learning? Am I going too fast? All my teachers go so fast. They do it on purpose. They make sure your face looks confused. This 5z squared plus 2z cubed. I don't know if you're supposed to do all that. Like, they didn't factor everything out though. Like, this over here, it looks the same up there. Like, the only thing they did was, you know, wait, yo, yeah. No, 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 it's not the same thing. Look, 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 look. It's not the same thing because z squared minus I. Wait, y'all can't even see this. Wait, so this is z squared minus I. I thought for a second there, like they just put this 4, like this thing on the denominator of that one. But listen, I mean, it looks like that because the numerator is almost the same as that, but it's not. See, z minus z to the negative I and negative 1 all squared becomes negative of z squared minus 1. But I don't know how that is. I guess we'll have to ask how the solution simplify to that. How did that happen? Nope. ChatGPT is the real teacher most time. I just self-study. Yeah, exactly, Oscar Gonzalez. Like I'm literally using ChatGPT to study right now. Because they don't go over these steps. They don't go over the small details that are so hard. I get the big picture, or I get the formula we're supposed to use, the residual theorem. But the algebra, the small things is where you really have to like lock in and practice before things get out of hand. Like this is like look at where we are right here. This is not how it's supposed to be. Mm-mm. Nuh-uh, no way. So they're squaring the top and the bottom, and the bottom becomes -4. Top becomes or stays the same. But you simplify the denominator, you get 2. Wait, we're looking at the denominator? Oh no, that's step 2. Hmm. Yeah, I was solving the denominator first. We don't gotta do that. All this doesn't is not required. I wish my finals were crossed out like this. Like that's not required. So again, to recap, we have to multiply the top and the bottom by square, just like separate it. Stressing, man. But I shouldn't be stressing. Cause listen, we came so far. I shouldn't have removed that. No, I shouldn't have crossed that out. Anyways, um, yeah. So square the top and the bottom, right? Right here. That becomes z minus z to the negative 1 squared over 2i squared. And then that becomes 4. Negative 4, actually. That becomes negative 4. The numerator stays. Z minus z negative 1 squared over negative 4 all over 5 plus 2 times z minus z to the negative 1. Right? Do y'all get that far? That much? I only have one viewer! Please, somebody, suffer with me. Somebody in the chat, say it, if you're here. I need a granola bar. I need something to distract me. I'm stressing. Does nobody want to study? It's literally a Sunday. It's literally a Mother's Day. Like, what are you guys doing? Spending time with your moms? I'd rather be studying. Finals, bro. Yeah, man. We all in this pool of melting pot of doom together. So yeah, that's what the numerator we call, and then to simplify the denominator, we have that. And we don't put it to the numerator, we put this to the denominator. That's crazy. It's the same as that. It goes to the denominator right there. Z minus z to the negative 1 squared all over 5 plus 2z minus z minus 1. That's still just negative 4 times 5 plus 2z minus 2z to the negative 1. Do we distribute the 4 at all? But to get rid of a negative exponent, we just put it to the numerator. Because z to the negative 1 is 1 over z. So z minus 1 over z with the common denominator. Um, z squared minus 1 over z. To simplify out the other parts. To substitute those back in. I don't listen. I don't I don't want to do this anymore. You know, I've been at this for a long time now. My brains are in fumes, but it's important to take breaks. Breaks. So you just multiply it by everything by 1 over z, or multiply everything by z over z, because that's just one. Z over z. We're just using tricks here. -4 times 5z over z plus 2z over z. But these are squared because there was already z's here. Actually, that first one is not squared. This first one didn't have a z. So that becomes z squared over z. This becomes minus 2 over z. That's your common denominator here. And then once we have all that, then we well, we also multiply the numerator by z over z, right? Because the if we multiply the bottom by z over z, the top has to be also multiplied by z over z, which then gives us multiplying by z over z, multiplying by z over z. We have z squared over z here. Z squared over z. This becomes z to the -1 times z. It's just 1. But it becomes plus 1 because it becomes -1. No, just not plus 1. It becomes just 1. Z to the -1 times z to 1 is just 1, not -1. So that negative here just carries on and it becomes -1 over here. Z squared minus 1, all squared. And that's all over z as well. So why is it z squared though for the numerator? How does that become z squared on the bottom? Because I get it, you multiply the top and bottom by 1 over no, by z over z. But it wasn't already over z though. It was over -4, which became the denominator with that denominator under it. Maybe that square over there made it z squared for that. Well, let's see. How did the numerator get a z squared for uh, on the bottom? See, oh, you squared the top and the bottom by z squared. No, wait, hold on. The bottom was not a z, it was a 2i. That's not good a 4. Uh, yeah, this ain't gonna work. This is not. This is not gonna work. We have to change that to that to that to that, and then multiply top and bottom by z squared or z over z. But even if we did, why would it? Okay, I need a break. I need a break. Mm, Uh, I don't even know what to do for a break. Like this is just one question and it's 2 pages long, like already. And there's seven more. Like what am I supposed to do? I have no idea, man. But this isn't what I'm supposed to be studying. I'm supposed to be studying a review. It's only 40 minutes into the stream. Like my back hurts, bro, I swear. I'm gonna look back at this stream when life is good and I'm gonna be like, oh thank God I'm not there anymore. But for now it's perpetual hell. There's nobody even here to witness my struggles. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stop trying to do this problem and I'm gonna focus on the real assignment that's the final review, which is this one. It's 12 pages long, but it's worth it. Like it's good stuff. It's a lot of what we're gonna do. The thing that I was trying to do here, that's not gonna be part of the final. That's just the latest homework. It's a very small portion of the final, if anything. We shouldn't use our brain cells on that. All right, all right, guys. Why you gotta make it 10 pages long though? That's insane. I can't do this, man. I can't do this. I need to end the stream. I'll be right back, guys. I don't know what I need to do, but cut the show. Cut the show. I'm done. Cut the show.